All my friends call me a hopeless romantic, which I think is just like a nice way of calling me a sad slut. I'm kind of like Taylor Swift, but I have more of a belly button and less of a girl squad because my friends all call me a sad slut behind my back. So, working on that. Also, working on myself, going to therapy, okay? And I found out that maybe I'm the problem. Unlike Taylor Swift, I'm assuming. I don't know her life. But I spent all my 20s single and dating and writing about dating. So I would call myself a sex columnist, and my mom would call me a disappointment. And my boyfriend would call me never, because no one wants to date you when you write about sex for a living. But it was really less sex. It was more like 9 dicks you have to try before the new year. So, killing it. I'm a millennial, thank you. So I also grew up with like Disney movies and thinking that, you know, maybe if I was just patient and liked animals enough and like fell asleep at just the right time, like someday my prince would come. And then he finally did come, and all I got from his magic carpet ride was a raging UTI. So everything is awesome. No, but I think what it is like I was an early adapter of dating apps. I was like one of the first people on Tinder. Like, isn't that weird to think about? Like, what? And then after that, I went on Bumble, which is the dating app where guys are usually posing with like fish for some reason. I know my mom always told me there's plenty of fish in the sea, but like I don't think that's what she meant. I was also on the dating website Plenty of Fish, and OkCupid, and Coffee Meets Bagel, and Hinge, and J-Swipe, which is Jewish Tinder. I'm not a chosen one. I just really wanted someone to choose me. I also think I was single for most of my life because I spent my 20s in Los Angeles, and dating in LA is really terrible. And I know you guys think it's bad here in New York. It is. But people in New York, they tell you they don't like you to your face. In LA, you have to like sit through an improv show to find that out. I really think they need to work on that welcome to LA sign and change it to welcome to Los Angeles. We like our people like we like our air. Toxic. Because when I was 23, I dated a guy who was 35, which I realize is a big age gap. But I was 23 and I thought I was very mature and I was ready to date a man. We dated for almost a year. I found out he was actually 45 years old. I know, I couldn't tell because he was a former actor / model turned producer. But the only thing he seemed to produce when we were dating were lies, starring me. And then at 26, I dated a guy who hit me, which was terrible because it was before 50 Shades of Grey. So no one got it. You should never, ever hit a woman unless it's in the bedroom and she specifically asks you and there's a safe word and paperwork, and even then just like triple check in this day and age, right? You know? But I could see how he got confused because it kind of happened in the bedroom because he lived in a studio apartment. So technically every room was the bedroom. And then after that, at 29, I dated this guy, and things escalated so quickly. I mean, we only were dating for a week, and we were already yellow heart, 3 fire sign emoji status on Snapchat, which I don't know if you guys know, but that's like a big deal. That means that we were on a 3-day Snapchat streak, and we were exclusively each other's best friends on Snapchat. Like, that's basically engaged, okay? And so on a 3rd date, he asked me if I wanted to go to an overnight wine tasting in Santa Barbara. And I said yes, because I was watching a lot of The Bachelor at the time. And on that show, that's like a totally low-key, easygoing first date, right? Anyone watch The Bachelor? No? Well, you're not going to like this next joke. The Bachelor is like a show, okay? And it's like a thing a lot of girls, they're like, I'm ready for love, and they date this guy. And the thing is, it's crazy. It's like everyone really thinks they go on this show. They're looking to find the person, the one, their person. And there's been 22 seasons of this show. And of the 22 seasons, only one winning couple is still together. That's a 4.5 success rate. That's crazy. And our next bachelor is a virgin. Yeah, we think that's gonna work out? I'm sorry, that guy's gonna lose his virginity and he is not gonna wanna settle down. Case in point, everyone in high school. But yeah, so this guy asked me if I wanted to go on a third date with him, wine tasting in Santa Barbara, and I said yes, and like, we went to Santa Barbara and he dumped me not once, but twice, which was so weird because we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. Again, we were yellow heart 3 fire sign emoji status on Snapchat, which was just as important and very devastating. Like, so sad that I lost a follower on Snapchat. So if you could follow me at It's Gabi Conti, like, it would just make my confidence, like, great. Because after him, I dated this guy and I thought he was the one. And I was living in Los Angeles and I moved my life in LA to live in New York, in Brooklyn with him, knowing the L was going to close in a couple of months. But our love would prevail. And I realized, like, not even a month ago that it was not right and we were not meant to be together. And thank God that Ariana Grande's Thank You Next was a song at the time. Because I don't think I would be this optimistic. But no, things are fine. Things are great. You know, I think there were a lot of red flags in the relationship, and I think we all do this in dating. Ever date someone and there's this giant red flag and you just pretend it's a big romantic gesture? It usually happens over brunch. Like, the more mimosas you have, the bigger the red flag, the more of a romantic gesture it was. So I'd be at brunch with my friends and I'd be like, yeah, he's great, but, you know, he's 33 and he plays Fortnite all the time and he's always on the headset with these 7-year-olds telling them they're trash. And my friends would be like, oh my God, Gabi, that's amazing. That means he's really good with kids. Like, you should lock that down. Basically, brunch is awesome, but I think it's toxic. But at the same time, I don't think you should ever have brunch without alcohol, because that's breakfast. I tried orange juice without champagne recently, and I don't recommend it. I don't. So now I'm 31, and I'm living with my parents. Hi, Mom and Dad, or roommates, as I should say. And I'm just killing it. Like, things are great. And I think what it is here's the thing. I think we live in a society where, especially for women, I'm sure this happens for men too, that I used to think that being 30 and single was like a death sentence. And that's not the case, because any age that you're single is fine. It doesn't matter. You're on your own path. You're on your own journey. It doesn't really matter, because being alone in a relationship is so much worse than being alone and being single, right? Yeah, because, and I just want to shake 28-year-old me who didn't realize that, because 28-year-old me, like, my biggest fear in life was being alone, and all my friends were coupled off like Noah's Ark style, and I was like, am I unicorn? Maybe. And I would spend my weekends just watching rom-coms on Netflix. And my favorite was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is currently streaming. You're welcome. It's not like I needed to watch that, because I knew how to lose a guy in 10 seconds. All I had to say, hi, my name is Gabi, and my biggest fear in life is being alone. Please date me. That was like 9. But I knew that. And so I was really deep on Bumble, which is the fish app, but also the app where girls have to message the guys first, and everyone's really good looking, but also really damaged, because, again, it's a dating app. And that's where I met Andrew 31. And on our first date, I just knew something was so special about Andrew 31. And the obvious was his British accent, and that he kind of looked like David Beckham without the creepy high voice. But then I noticed that his V-necks were like a little lower than mine. And he might have shaved his chest, but then I realized he had beautiful sun-kissed skin and like sparkling blue eyes. And then he would say schedule or literally, and I would like literally melt into the booth. And over shoestring fries and vodka sodas, we told each other our stories. And I found out that he was divorced, but like, who isn't? Right? And I asked him if he talked to his ex, and he said they recently reconnected and found out they were into the same type of kinky stuff. Well, I was a journalism major, so I had to get to the bottom of this. The date would not end until I found out, so I was like, do you have a red room, bondage, role play? And then finally I was like, foot stuff? And he shook his head yes, and I bit into a shoestring fry. Is this why he ordered these? What? And I found out that, he had a foot fetish, and I didn't know, like, I'm an only child. Again, maybe I'm the problem. And so I didn't have an older sibling like showing me some porn, being like, this is what foot stuff is like. Like, I had to find out through a Sex and the City episode where Charlotte, the innocent one, tries on various shoes. Now you're all looking at my feet. They're beautiful. You're welcome. Where Charlotte tried on various shoes, and the guy was getting more aroused, and then he gave her a pair of shoes for free, and then she returned them because she felt dirty. That's all I knew about foot fetishes. So I had a lot of questions. I was like, how'd you know? And he told me about growing up in London and going to some brothel where there was like feet in like boxes on the wall that belonged to people and you could touch them. Like, I don't know. This is like, I can't get my head around this. And then I'm Italian, so I started getting jealous. And I was like, well, what's your foot type? And he's like, clean and manicured, which is like, I'm sorry, if you're into feet, shouldn't you know it's called a pedicure? But, you know, we kept dating because he texted me back, and I was just like, and I remember one day he was like, what are you up to? And I told him I was laying out an outfit for this shoot I had in the morning, and he asked me if I could send a picture of the outfit. And so, I mean, I never sent a nude photo with my face in, so this was just awkward for me to take a picture of the floral dress and my pink strappy heels, and I sent it to him, and I just felt dirty sending it to him, not to fetish shame, because I do think that being able to communicate what you want in the bedroom is beautiful and great, as long as it's between two consenting adults. Like, awesome, great, do you. But the thing is that I was one of these people that I thought I would save my virginity until marriage. And then high school came around, and I was like, maybe my boyfriend will do, right? And then I was like, maybe true love, whatever. So I thought I should save something for marriage. So maybe it was my feet. Like, I didn't know. But then I heard the voice of my grandmother, Antoinette, in my head telling me, don't knock it until you try it, Gabriella. Like, sure, she was talking about her pasta fazool, but maybe foot stuff? Like, maybe that was my answer to not being alone, was just being more open-minded in the bedroom. I mean, we were both looking for soulmates, just like completely different types of souls. So I went to get a pedicure, obviously, and I picked out periwinkle blue, and the color's name, and I'm not making this up, was called All Access Pass. And then I got a spa pedicure. If you get pedicures, there's two different types. There's one that's just basic, they paint your toes, and there's another one that's called a spa pedicure, and they basically like scrape off your feet, and you have like a new foot, and it's like crazy. And I'm sitting there getting this done, and I'm realizing how ticklish I am and how I can't sit still, and I'm like, oh my God, if this is happening in a pedicure, like, how am I gonna lose my foot-gidity? Like, this is not gonna happen. But I get ready for the date, and I'm spending less time on my hair and makeup and more time on the shoes that I wear. So if I wore a pump like this, I was worried it would ruin my, $60 pedicure. But if I wore an open-toed shoe, I'm like, is that too slutty? So I was like a sock and a boot, so there's like more to take off, right? And he asked me to dinner. He said I could pick any place I want, so I picked sushi because I'm basic as fuck. And we just have a great sushi dinner, not realizing, of course, that like sushi pieces look like toes as he like eats a salmon sushi. I'm just like, oh, I can't. But then he pays a check without a question. I'm like, maybe this will work out. Sorry, Mom and Dad. He goes down on me and then downer. And he's like removing my sock and then my foot, and then he starts he's nibbling on my feet, like removing the dead skin, which was like very right. I know. I just spent $60 on a spa pedicure. Why was there dead skin on my feet? Like, it was like what those little fish do, I imagine. And after that, we stopped seeing each other, and it was really less because of the foot thing. It was more because he lived in Burbank and I lived in West Hollywood, and you guys might not know that, but that's a very long commute. So I just really couldn't deal with the distance. And then one day, without thinking, I posted a picture of these new socks I had that said happy on them on Snapchat, and I checked to see who watched it because I don't need social media for validation whatsoever. And I saw that Andrew31 not only saw that photo, but he took a screenshot of it. So I might not be his soulmate, but perhaps I'm the soul that got away. And for the record, never get a $60 pedicure for a guy you met on a dating app. Do that shit for yourself. Thank you.